Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
A slow-moving cold front crossing West Virginia is stirring up some strong thunderstorms capable of heavy rain today, and we will see additional opportunities for rain each day into next week. So for accumulation, first breaking this down up until 8 a.m. Saturday in this time frame, the lowest amounts near Beckley in that deeper blue is still 3/4 of an inch. Meanwhile, a good inch for Charleston, for Elkins, the higher amounts near Bluefield, Huntington, Parkersburg, near Morgantown, and Martinsburg. Those areas are approaching the 2-inch range. Extending this through 8 a.m. Wednesday, the higher areas are now approaching 3 inches for running accumulation, approaching 2 inches for Charleston, and Beckley, still a good 1.5 inches expected. Our focus will be on the potential for some damaging winds and maybe some hail as we head through the rest of the afternoon and evening with these storms progressing from west to east. That improves heading into the overnight hours in terms of the severe threat, but additional waves of showers and storms that will be capable of heavy rainfall will be with us as we head through Thursday as well. Briefly drying out Thursday night, but additional rain building in Friday. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. We are not the only ones seeing thunderstorms. Pretty wet travel expected just about anywhere you're heading in the coming days. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Temperatures falling into upper 40s to low 50s looking north, and then 71 New Cumberland, 72 Moundsville, Morgantown only 68 for a high on Thursday. Mid-50s east and mid-60s for highs. So we're settling into some cooler air behind this cold front. Elkins 58 tonight. Parkersburg 50 for a low temperature, then 72 for a high. Elkins not quite reaching 70. As we go southward, we'll see Bluefield with 62 and mid-70s to the lower 70s across southern parts of the region for our Thursday. Gradually returning to some 80s over the weekend, but staying very wet into next week.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three,
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw. Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. We're all here. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, Brad Howe. A lot to do today. We will dig into the comments of Chuck Lillie, first-year general manager for the Mountaineer football program. He was featured recently on Three Guys Before the Game. So we'll get into some of the things that he had to say. We'll take a high school detour. We'll hear from one of the programs, the coach of one of the programs that's going to the state softball tournament for the first time in school history, PikeView. So we'll have that conversation coming up. But first, we say good evening to Greg and Brad.
Good evening.
Good evening, boys.
Glad to be back again. Knicks won last night. Huge comeback. Deuce, not a factor, though. No points.
No, he played like 16 minutes, but it was a wild NBA game. Talk about a start for these playoffs. Western Conference Finals, which are back in action tonight, goes double overtime. Webb and Yana was absolutely ridiculous. What do you have, 42 and 24 the other night. And then last night in the West Virginia versus West Virginia series with Deuce going against Mike Gansey's Cavaliers, the poor Cleveland Cavaliers, man, up 22 under 8 minutes. They had a 99.9% win probability and yet did not win the game. New York comes storming back. Jalen Brunson was a one-man wrecking crew, goes for 38. They end up winning that game convincingly. Covered a 7.5-point spread, guys, after they were down 22 points. Just a remarkable comeback for the Knicks in a game that you thought Cleveland had, and it's really an interesting dynamic now for the rest of the series is what is real. The fact that Cleveland was up 22 on the Knicks and blowing them out on their home court to start the series, or are they absolutely wrecked emotionally and have a tough time getting back up off the mat after what was a massive gut punch from the Knicks last night?
You know, we don't talk about the emotional side of the pro game as much. You know, how do they bounce back? But something like that has got to just weigh on your psyche.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're Little League or if you're in the NBA or professional athlete. When you gack one up like that, it's tough.
Historic. I mean, that's a historic loss. So you just wonder what their ability is. And it's one of those, as you try and look big picture, you look at the series, that will be yeoman's work for Cleveland to win a series when they give that one back, right? Because look how that series changes. If they had won game one on the Knicks home court, suddenly they are absolutely live to win that series and the favorite to win that series. And yet here they are now. They're 0-1 after game one.
Also today, we've got news of recruits, one in each of the last couple of days, including a high school commitment, Greg, and also another transfer.
Yeah, let's start with the high school one because it's a little easier to explain because it's much more traditional, right? Tavorius Finley is a 6'4", 240-pound edge rusher from Carroll City High School in Miami, Florida. Had a really nice offer list. Over a dozen Power 4 schools had offered him, including hometown school Miami. Then you go Indiana, Auburn, Georgia Tech, Pitt, Kentucky, a bunch of others. So picks and commits the other day to West Virginia. So that's more the traditional one. That comes out just the other day. And then coming out of Canada. Yes, Canada, and not a basketball guy, but yet a football guy. And from 3 Down Nation comes the story. And yeah, 3 down because Canadian football has 3 downs. That West Virginia has a commitment, and this isn't for the class of 2027. They're getting a college transfer that will come into WVU this summer, the way I'm reading this, from Alberta, the Alberta Golden Bears, a defensive lineman, an edge guy himself, 6'6", 240, Emerson Joy. He's a native of Calgary, and plays in what they call, I think it's UA football, which is I think their NCAA up there. So has played 2 years of collegiate football at the University of Alberta. Now one of the players out of that league that is making the move down to the United States and has given a verbal commitment, according to 3 Down Nation, to West Virginia University and will be here this summer if all goes according to plan. So that's an intriguing one because it's a path that I've never witnessed for West Virginia before. They've had some Canadian kids come down.
Akeem Mesidor.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, a lot of those have gone to prep school in West Virginia like Mesidor did. Or there have even been a couple that have come straight from Canada, but from the more traditional high school ranks. One that has come from a university and basically been a transfer is not one I've seen at WVU before. So very interesting for Emerson Joy.
I'm disappointed it's not like the basketball side and they did get somebody from the CFL.
Yeah.
I mean, just go and pull somebody from the CFL. You haven't signed with the NFL, you're eligible. Let's go.
That's the next frontier. The Euro League in basketball.
There, now that the Canada bubbles burst, we're in now. Now you go after the NFL. Go for somebody from the Saskatchewan Roughriders up next, Kyle. Here we go.
No question. So what's this guy's position? He's a pass rusher?
Yeah, pass rusher. 6'6", 240-pound. They list him as a defensive lineman. With that frame, you got to think edge-type guy. So, again, very intriguing. What kind of jump this is to Division I Power 4 level. And West Virginia University has had plenty of really good athletes from Canada who've come down, but not a transfer that, to my knowledge, from a Canadian university for football. So this will be an intriguing one. We'll have to delve in more and get a little bit more information on him over time.
You get Miles Sadler on board, and that pipeline just opens, Kyle. Here they come.
You had some tremendous women's soccer players from Canada through the years.
Yep.
So, worth a shot. So we'll see how that plays out this summer, no doubt. Text line open 304 Talk 304. Again, coming up on the program, we're going to visit with Steve Compton. He's the softball coach at PikeView. PikeView has qualified for the state tournament for the first time in program history, and another team, guys, that has qualified for the first time in program history, the biggest school in the state, Morgantown High.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? That the first time that the Mohegans have made it down there. But you're right, Kyle. They won 2, and they're headed down here in this new format. So that'll be fun to see Morgantown High down there.
They're playing a warm-up game, or I guess you could say a keep warm game, because they've got a week off before they play in their state tournament. They're playing today against Lincoln. So, but PikeView was practicing today, and Coach Steve Compton kind enough to join us, and we will have that conversation when we return. Also, a little bit later on, Chuck Lillie comes to WVU from Oklahoma. He's the first-year general manager, and he'll talk about some of the lessons he learned at Oklahoma and roster composition among the things that he comments on. And again, his conversation available at all the download places for 3 guys before the game. So we're underway on this Wednesday edition of the Sportsline. It is the CityNet statewide Sportsline. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now is the perfect time to connect. Free equipment, free installation, no contract, local customer support you can trust. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet's cybersecurity services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response, so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family-owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps, and never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
What does it mean to lead in medicine? J.W. Ruby Memorial Hospital is the top hospital in West Virginia. Nationally recognized for 3 programs in 18 procedures and conditions. But to us, leadership means being first in care, in lives saved, in lives restored. In medicine, we lead in the ways that truly matter.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
CityNet statewide sports line all through the state of West Virginia. Welcome back to the Health Plan Studios. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, and Brad Howe. Coming up next week, we'll have play-by-play, radio play-by-play of all of the games from the state softball championships. You can log on to WVMetroNews.com and get live streaming play-by-play of all the games. Next week, it is single A and double A, Tuesday through Thursday. Then the following week, triple A and quad A, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week, I believe. So all the games, play-by-play of the state softball finals at WVMetroNews.com. One of the teams going for the first time in program history is PikeView, and head coach Steve Compton joins us on the sports line. Coach, good evening. Thanks for your time.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
We're doing great. Now, I was talking with your athletic director today, Jason Underwood, and he says you've been coaching softball there for 2 decades or more, and this is the first time you broke through this year. So put that into perspective for us, getting to the state tournament for the first time, all the work and the toil through those years.
Well, yeah, he's right. It's been 2 decades. I think I took a 3-year break from the time I started in 2007 until now. But, it's been a journey. We've had some pretty good teams, some really good teams. We just never seemed to be able to push past. Back when they had sectionals, we were double A. We just seemed not be able to push past that sectional championship to even get in the regions. And now that we were in the regions and going to states, it's something else.
So, Coach, can you explain the excitement level for your ball club to make this journey?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I'm really excited after 20 years, but yeah, they're really excited about it. I think going into the season, they felt like they possibly had a chance, but to make it there is just something else. They're on cloud 9 right now, actually.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. A lot of things have to go right there, even if you recognize the talents. Let's talk about that for a little bit. When did you start to see that this group could be special, that this team had a chance? Is this a group that's been together and been playing for years together through the youth level? When did it first resonate that maybe you had a special group here?
It started 2 years ago with the 11th graders we got now, but then last year when we added a pitcher and a catcher that's 10th grade, Shelby Maddox and Taylor Wright, you started to see something special with this group.
So talk about that. You've got a sophomore pitcher in Shelby Maddox who's 18-4 with a ton of strikeouts, a 1.41 ERA. So you add a premier pitcher in softball, and that gives you a chance. So how good is Shelby, and how good can she be?
Well, she is as good as her stats prove. The thing that kind of came up, our second pitcher, Emma Compton, hurt her wrist. So about halfway through the season, or 2/3 through the season, she wasn't able to pitch anymore. So Shelby has shouldered the whole load from pitching all the games, all the innings, and she just keeps doing it every game.
Can she continue? What's the competition going to be like at the state level?
I think that this break is what we needed. We get a pretty good break between now and we played our last game Saturday, and we got a pretty good break. And I think she needed it, but I was wondering if she could hold up, but she's held up. I mean, from the first day she pitched this season until Saturday when she pitched. There hasn't been a lot of change in what she's doing.
How about on the offensive side? Let's talk about the bats a little bit. I know this gets dangerous because you probably want to talk about every one of your players in your lineup. I get it, but you had a big hit from Emma Weiss. She hits her first home run of the year, and it's a grand slam against Greenbrier East as you're making this march. So tell us a little bit about some of your kids with the sticks in their hand.
Well, our big hitter, of course, is Emma Compton. She's got 10 home runs this year. She's got a four something batting average. And then right behind her is Shelby Maddox, the pitcher. Our 1 through 4, 1 through 5, they're pretty solid hitters. What has helped us the last couple weeks of the season is 6 through 9 has come through greatly for us, especially that home run, that grand slam on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Emma Compton, any relation there?
No, none at all. It's a different Compton. Everybody asks me that.
Yeah,
they ask me if she's my daughter.
Yeah, that's a natural assumption that we would make, but no relation at all, huh?
No, none at all.
Coach, I know the seedings and the pairings haven't come out yet. We should be privy to that information tomorrow. What are your thoughts on this field, this AAA field that you'll be right smack in the middle of?
Well, we've been researching. I wish we'd have got to play a lot of those teams. I think, like in my opinion, the number one team's going to come out to be John Marshall, and then Kaiser and Herbert Hoover. We got to play them once this year. Point Pleasant, who beat some of the teams that you think would be a higher seed, but it's just every category and every stat you look at is different because of who played who and did what with them. So I'm interested to see where everybody falls.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some time here to think about it, but have you started to jot any notes down about your pregame speech, or will you roll out kind of what you've done all season?
I'll run out what I've done all season pretty much. They know what what's coming up and what this means. I'll have probably after games after it's all over speech for them, but pregame I'll just tell them we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing and see what happens.
Obviously, Herbert Hoover and Winfield have kind of ruled this class, and you mentioned John Marshall.
Yes.
You go in, do you sense that they're kind of loose and relaxed, and there's no pressure on your team because of these other great programs that are in AAA? Is that kind of the sense that you get from your players?
Yeah, kind of, because I think what has helped them is right the first part of April, we played Herbert Hoover, and it was a really close game, and I think that's what let them know that they could compete with those really great programs that are up there all the time, up there every year. So,
well, Coach, we congratulate you on what you've accomplished so far, and we certainly wish you the best of luck. It's always a great story when a team gets there for the first time in school history, and you kind of bring that underdog mentality with you, and it's fun to watch teams like yours, and we certainly wish you the best of luck.
Well, I appreciate it. I thank you so much.
Coach Steve Compton there of PikeView going to the state tournament in AAA. So John Marshall, Brooke Kaiser, Herbert Hoover, Winfield, Point Pleasant, Robert C. Byrd, PikeView.
That's a loaded field right there, right? That's a good one. I mean, I know you're going to see a lot of great teams when you get down to South Charleston, but that's a tough AAA field right there.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, we'll take a break. When we return, the text line open, of course, 304-TALK-304. We'll get some comments from Chuck Lillie, WVU's first-year football general manager. And also a little baseball news to report. First of all, the Mountaineers are a step closer, or maybe a half step closer, to knowing who they're going to play Thursday in their opener, and they travel today. Kansas State won a first-round game, so it's Kansas State against TCU. But also some news concerning Gavin Kelly. And, man, it's going to be great watching Gavin Kelly one more year in college because he's on his way.
He is absolutely on his way.
So we'll talk about that as well as we return. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Again, we're in the Health Plan Studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
At WVU Medicine, our nationally recognized Heart and Vascular Institute is focused on keeping your heart strong. Our experts bring world-class care close to home, using the most advanced technology. Because in medicine, the best heart is one that beats for life. And it takes the best in heart care to protect it. WVU Heart and Vascular Institute, West Virginia's leader in heart care. For more information, visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
The challenges facing today's workforce are real. Rapid change, new technology, and a growing skills gap. But there's a solution. WVU Parkersburg is partnering with local businesses to deliver customized training programs built around your needs. From advanced manufacturing and healthcare to emerging technologies and certifications, we help your team gain the skills to stay competitive. Businesses across our region are already making it happen. Visit wvup.edu and start building a future-ready workforce today.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
A slow-moving cold front crossing West Virginia is stirring up some strong thunderstorms capable of heavy rain today, and we will see additional opportunities for rain each day into next week. So for accumulation, first breaking this down up until 8 a.m. Saturday in this time frame, the lowest amounts near Beckley in that deeper blue is still 3/4 of an inch. Meanwhile, a good inch for Charleston, for Elkins, the higher amounts near Bluefield, Huntington, Parkersburg, near Morgantown, and Martinsburg. Those areas are approaching the 2-inch range. Extending this through 8 a.m. Wednesday, the higher areas are now approaching 3 inches for running accumulation, approaching 2 inches for Charleston, and Beckley, still a good 1.5 inches expected. Our focus will be on the potential for some damaging winds and maybe some hail as we head through the rest of the afternoon and evening with these storms progressing from west to east. That improves heading into the overnight hours in terms of the severe threat, but additional waves of showers and storms that will be capable of heavy rainfall will be with us as we head through Thursday as well. Briefly drying out Thursday night, but additional rain building in Friday. FlyCRW forecast, it starts at home. We are not the only ones seeing thunderstorms. Pretty wet travel expected just about anywhere you're heading in the coming days. Panhandle to Panhandle forecast. Temperatures falling into upper 40s to low 50s looking north, and then 71 New Cumberland, 72 Moundsville, Morgantown only 68 for a high on Thursday. Mid-50s east and mid-60s for highs. So we're settling into some cooler air behind this cold front. Elkins 58 tonight. Parkersburg 50 for a low temperature, then 72 for a high. Elkins not quite reaching 70. As we go southward, we'll see Bluefield with 62. And mid-70s to the lower 70s across southern parts of the region for our Thursday. Gradually returning to some 80s over the weekend, but staying very wet into next week.
Health Plan Studios, home of the City Nest statewide Sportsline for this Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. We'll get some texts here in a moment. Also, Chuck Lillie, Mountaineer golf team, the NCAA regional wrapped up today, and West Virginia had another under par round. They were 5 under today after going 6 under in round 2 on Tuesday. They started at 6 over in the first round on Wednesday, so they finished the tournament 5 under par in 8th place. Unfortunately, the teams that finished in the top 5 all were pretty incredible, including Arizona, who finished 20. Let's see, they had that round of 24 under par yesterday, 14 under par today. So the 3-round total of 49 under par for number 18 Arizona.
They finished 14 strokes ahead of number 2 Oklahoma State, who won the national championship last year. So you talk about a group that ran away with it in their home area of just outside of Tucson. My goodness, what a score. But West Virginia finished strong after a slow start, got it together the last couple of rounds, and finished up with some individual performances, especially Nick Tarowski, who had a really great event. He finishes -5 on the tournament, and that is the second lowest round score by a Mountaineer in an NCAA tournament event. That was the round today. So I'm sorry, 5 under for the round today. Second lowest score in a round by a Mountaineer. He finished 6 under for the tournament, which is also the second lowest by a WVU golfer in an NCAA event. So some positives coming out of there, even though West Virginia's not going to advance on to the national tournament.
That program continues to grow. So, again, you've got the teams advancing. Arizona ranked 18th. Clemson. Wait a minute. This just went back to the first round on me.
It did.
Okay. Well, Clemson was not in the Final 5, but the Final 5 went away. It was best memory, Arizona, LSU, Alabama, Oklahoma State.
And Arkansas State.
Okay. I thought Duke was in there too. Duke wasn't in there? Yeah, Arkansas State was in there. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what in the world happened here. I had the results up, and then it just reverted back to the first round. But the Mountaineers finish 8th. Again, a program that continues to grow, and they surpass – each year's better than the next.
Yeah, there's no question. Sean Kovich has done a wonderful job since restarting that program, and this was another step in the right direction. And you stack a couple of really good seasons there. That's 2 out of 3 years that this program has qualified for this NCAA regional competition. So next year you look forward to some of these guys coming back. Jack Michael, promising freshmen from here in the state, and see if they can reload and do it again next year.
304 Talk 304. We'll get to the text in a moment, but now we turn our attention to the first-year general manager for the Mountaineer football program, Chuck Lillie. And Brad, you got a chance to get to know him recently.
Yeah, he's a really good addition to this program. And Greg, we talked about the difference between year 2 recruiting versus year 1. I think Chuck's a big part of that, heading up that side of the house where you're working all year towards the class versus Rich having to do a majority of that by himself early as he was putting together a staff also. And it's clear that Chuck's overseen a development and an increase in the talent that has come in, and really brings a unique skill set to the table here of managing that group. But he's been at some big programs, and we'll hear from him talk about his time at Clemson as an undergrad, where he got started on the recruiting side of things. He was most recently at Oklahoma, and throughout the podcast, we reference back to that at Oklahoma, and Zach Alley was instrumental in getting him here to West Virginia from Oklahoma. So really good addition to this Mountaineer program.
And it's such a unique position compared to, where it was 5 years ago. I mean, the general manager wasn't even thought of. I mean, he had recruiting coordinators for years and years, but for so long, they were coaches that sort of had a administrative job, part of it off the field as well. But now the general manager, and who has a whole staff that he works with, because it is such a 24/7, 365-day job, not just with the high school players, which is certainly a job in itself, but also the transfer portal and how you've got to be ready to jump those kids immediately. So you have to have a stack of knowledge and information on really everybody that's out there.
Yeah, and then go further, because it's even matured as a job since it just started a couple of years ago, in that there's a lot of dealings with agents, and that's one of the parts where Chuck excels, is when you get right down to it and you're getting close to signing day and offers are starting to go and there's discussion back and forth. He's one of the guys that's sitting in that war room, to use an NFL draft term, and working with agents and talking to agents throughout the year and getting ready. So super important position. Chuck comes off extremely well in this interview. I think people enjoy hearing from him and learning more about him. We'll play a couple clips here, Kyle, but that's available, as you mentioned, wherever you get your podcast, audio-wise. You can also watch it at YouTube or the WV MetroNews TV app if you want to see the full interview.
Chuck Lillie, native of Baltimore, graduated from Clemson, and he talked initially about how he got his start on this side of the business while at Clemson.
So it was my junior year, probably a week before classes started. I just took myself down over to the football stadium where their operations complex was, and walked into the building, heard people talking from the floor above me, and just followed the noise, and it happened to be the recruiting office, and, somehow talked my way into it. That was really how it got started.
Wait a second, time out here. So you go, okay, I hear noise, I'm going up the steps, and you go up and you just say, hey, and then kind of everyone looks at the same time and goes, hey, my name's Chuck, and I just want to get involved.
That's pretty much it, yeah. And talked my way into it. They didn't want to take a junior because they knew it was going to take some time to kind of learn everything and onboard, and, so I think I lied and told him that I was going to need a fifth year.
Actually, sure.
Yeah.
Fifth year.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, no, I'm really like a sophomore, right? I'm going to need this fifth year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so convince them to, hire me. I didn't need to get paid. I didn't need class credit. I just wanted to work.
So, walk up and knock on the door.
Pretty good life lesson right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Kind of a Owen Schmidt type story, right? Where he comes and knocks on the facilities building door.
Yeah,
Say,
so
I can play.
Chuck wanted in the building. He wanted on the recruiting side of things. He just went in and made a spot for himself.
So he comes to WVU from Oklahoma. While at Oklahoma, he oversaw roster management in conjunction with the head coach, of course, oversaw the recruiting and scouting process for all players, and assisted the GM and communicated with player representatives in negotiating NIL deals. So that's a pretty full plate. And Chuck Lillie talked about the lessons that he brings to WVU from Oklahoma.
What do you think the biggest thing you took from your Oklahoma experience that you took forward into this position?
Man, that's a great question. That was my first time being in the SEC. I'd spent 5 seasons with the team at Clemson, and then 4 seasons over at Kansas State. So I'd been in the ACC, had been in the Big 12, and I think just kind of seeing the makeup of rosters in the SEC, what those body types look like, what those, rosters look like, each different position, how's that similar or different from, leagues and teams that I've kind of, mentally compared ourselves against in the past. I think that was probably the biggest thing. As obviously the SEC's had a long track record of success, winning it all and producing a lot of NFL draft picks, and there's a reason for that.
And so one of those guys, Greg, is Michael Hawkins, the quarterback that's coming in to compete with Scotty Fox. That was a guy that both Chuck and Zach Alley were familiar with. And then you talk about body type or skill set, you're talking about speed, number one, right, which we know Rich has made that a priority here in the offseason, then certainly along the defensive line, some size and trying to find those guys that can get after the passer.
Yeah, and again, it helps to have a guy who's versed in how that's done at a high level, as he has that knowledge from Oklahoma and from Clemson.
And I think that Kansas State experience is important as well, right? That's a guy that not only understands the Big 12, but also a similar type of program maybe to West Virginia, and having to go out and find guys that aren't necessarily headed to Texas or Oklahoma, but you've got to go do your due diligence and find some guys that you can develop up. So I think Chuck has a well-rounded resume there of multiple schools to pull from.
Find guys from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, right?
Anywhere you can find them. Right?
Anywhere, yep, absolutely. Anywhere you can find them. All right, one more from Chuck Lillie. He talked about assembling the roster and acquiring players.
Let's talk about roster composition. Firstly, from big picture thing, money-wise. You have a set amount of dollars that you guys are going to go to market with. How do you begin that process of saying, okay, is it as simple as, we're going to spend X amount of dollars on average on offense, X amount of dollars on defense, and then once you get into those positions, my quarterback, how many am I going to keep? Running back, can you kind of walk us through that world of thought?
Yeah. I think you want to try to be balanced, as it relates to offense and defense. But I think it's, I hear some programs that, try to allocate a certain amount of dollars towards the freshman signing class. And I guess I just don't necessarily agree or understand that logic. I think the way that coach wants to, run this, and I agree with this wholeheartedly, is, let's just acquire the best players that we can wherever we can get them.
Pretty easy, simplistic take there. Get the best players. He does go on to talk a little bit more. He gets into some of the, not necessarily the specific dollar amounts for guys, but the theory of here's who your most expensive guys are going to be, right? And they're who you think they are. It's a quarterback, it's a left tackle. So it's guys that can throw the ball, right? Yeah. Guys that can protect the guy throwing the ball, and guys that can go get the ball on the other side of it. Those are your most expensive. And then lock down corners as well. So he goes through that, but we can see it starting to take more shape like an NFL roster. And like an NFL GM has to manage the cap. They're doing that same thing here as well.
And negotiate those NIL deals, which he has pretty good experience there as well.
Yeah, he was a vital part of that crew, and it's multiple people doing it. That's not a one-man show for Chuck, but he was certainly vitally involved in that process as they were negotiating those deals with this last class that's coming to West Virginia.
Text coming in, 304-TALK 304. We will get to the text line when we return. Stay with us. We're in the Health Plan Studios. This is the CityNet statewide sports line.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
The challenges facing today's workforce are real. Rapid change, new technology, and a growing skills gap. But there's a solution. WVU Parkersburg is partnering with local businesses to deliver customized training programs built around your needs. From advanced manufacturing and healthcare to emerging technologies and certifications, we help your team gain the skills to stay competitive. Businesses across our region are already making it happen. Visit wvup.edu and start building a future-ready workforce today.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet's cybersecurity services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response, so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45, with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
Text line open 304 Talk 304 on the CityNet statewide sports line. A lot of comments from the NBA game last night. Texter says there's a great meme. The Cavs coach carrying a sack full of timeouts back to the hotel. How many did you sit on? 3?
Yeah,
at least
it was
2.
Odd. Yeah, and it was bonkers in Madison Square Garden. So yeah, love to second guess the next day. I realized, but I was a little surprised he didn't call a couple more to stop the bleeding there.
304 Talk 304. Texter asks, is there any plans to bring concerts to the football stadium in the Coliseum like it was a year ago? The system needs guardrails very badly.
Well, if he'd listened to the interview session with Ren Baker yesterday, that was my closing question, actually. Yes, for both eventually, because they do think that there's opportunities to make some money. There are some facilities issues in both those start with football. They think they can do that, but the construction with the new press box is also going to include an enlargement of at least one of the tunnels that leads to the field, because right now you can't get tractor trailers down there to help with those big stadium concerts. So they're going to enlarge one of those tunnels to facilitate that. And then in 2028, when all this is done, new press box, the bigger tunnels, it sounds like they'll have some concerts in the stadium at that point. And the Coliseum will have some even before that. But there's some logistical issues there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's the tunnels in each place is my understanding that you can't get the back end stuff in there in a timely fashion. But that's a pretty exciting change. I mean, that'll be cool to bring some big acts into Mountaineer Field and the Coliseum again.
When's the last concert there?
Ooh,
I
don't know. Wow, you're the concert guy.
Well, I mean, the only
surprised you don't know that.
I think the last ones have been country.
Yeah.
The last few. Of course, there's never been a stadium a concert in the stadium other than John Denver singing Country Roads.
Yeah.
But this is a trend. I mean, I just read an article last week about Iowa State is going to start to have big time concerts.
Well,
Jack
Luke
Trice
Combs is
Stadium.
doing it right now. In fact, I was at his concert a month ago at Notre Dame Stadium there, and I mean it's a pretty neat job. They do some co-merchandise branding. So he played also in Norman, Oklahoma at the Sooner Stadium. So yeah, it's a massive deal right now.
And of course, in the spring game they had Jake Owen, who did a spring concert right after the spring game, and that's not quite as big as some of the stadium acts, but they also did that as a little bit of a dry run to let them know what areas that they're going to need to really look at. And again, widening and lifting those tunnels is a big part of it.
Yeah, now there's a couple waves to this too, guys. Kyle, you would know this well. There's only a few acts that can carry stadium tours right now of that size. Luke Combs is one right now. Morgan Wallen's another. Of course, he's a UT Tennessee fan, so he went back to Knoxville last year and did one in their stadium. He's typically Morgan Wallen is a more pro NFL stadium guy, but Luke Combs seems to be the one that's on a college stadium tour right now.
I saw Paul McCartney, this is going back several years, but I saw Paul McCartney at Wake Forest football stadium, which was great. It was a perfect size for that. So but the last, I'm sure one of our listeners know, the last concert at the Coliseum, I saw Robert Plant there in like 1991, so that's going way back. But if memory serves, it was the last concert at the Coliseum was a country event.
They've had Alabama was there way back when. I mean, they had some good acts, but it's been a while, and that is money-making opportunities that West Virginia is going to explore. But that is something that Ren Baker said is definitely something they're exploring seriously.
304 Talk 304. This is a long one here. Let's see. I'll dive into this. I appreciate all the coverage we had on Ren's State of the Athletic Department address. He certainly covered a lot of important topics, but there was one thing he didn't touch on that I wonder about. In a recent article, I believe it was said that the athletic department was searching for, quote, a rally song to fire up the crowd, similar to We Are Family like the Pirates used to play. Man, that's going way back.
79.
79, exactly. Let's see. I think it's a good idea. If nothing has been decided yet, then I'm just going to nominate the songs that we play over the top of the lead-in video every day. Would that be the Three Guys video? That's Donnie Iris, isn't it, from Pittsburgh?
No, there was a trademark problem with that, Kyle.
Oh,
so
was
that is
there?
not Donnie Iris. That is that's our own band that came up with that version. Thank you.
Okay, that's the Three Guys Before the Game band led by Doc Severance.
Now listen, they do have one of those. The Sweet Caroline, when that thing comes on, that gets the crowd going right away. So that's been a wonderful addition.
Also going way back is The Stroke.
Yeah.
That one's played all the time. They played it at all 3 baseball games this last week.
Well, Rich brought that back. That's a Rich Rodriguez brought that back to the football stadium this fall. I think it's at the end of the third quarter. It's a specific time, Greg. I think it might be end of the third quarter. So that's a thing that the whole sideline then gets involved in and
all
starts
the crowd
going. So,
gets involved.
Yeah,
in.
that's a Rich Rod. I'll give him credit for trying to bring that one back.
I'm not the music guy, but get Charles Wesley Godwin to do something. That'd be fine.
There you go. I mean, he's the guy. That's a great idea. 304 Talk 304. Texter says the Cavs can blame WWE. Danhausen cursed them, laughing out loud. I saw it on a Facebook video. His character's pretty funny and very popular. All right. Let's see. Texter asks our best guess on the pitching rotation for this week. You're right. There's options. You can stay with Korn, who started Thursday last week, and keep Yale on the Friday rotation. Or I saw Steve Sabins make some comments yesterday to Big 12, to a Big 12 podcast, that you put your best guy out there and then go from that. And that would give an indication that maybe Max Yale starts on Thursday. So I don't think he's going to tip his hand. I'm not sure we're going to know, and probably till game time.
Let me ask you this. You guys are baseball guys. Do you pay any attention to what your rotation is going to be in the NCAA tournament?
Yes.
And try to sort of backload it so you don't wear it out in the Big 12 tournament?
That's absolutely part of the strategy, no question.
Of course, you don't know what day you're going to start. You could start on a Thursday or a Friday.
Right. But one of those two.
If I was to speculate, I would speculate that he would keep it the way it was, with Korn on Thursday and Yale on Friday. But again, that's just that would be my best guess. 304 Talk 304.
It's also real quick. It's significant to watch what TCU does tonight as well, assuming they get the win and face West Virginia.
Good point.
They're going to go Laporte tonight as they started the series off here in Morgantown. Then West Virginia gets the freshman that pitched so well against them in Game 2. He was a freshman, wasn't he?
Yes.
The second night starter?
Yes.
Yeah, that pitched so well in Game 2 against West Virginia, or do they flip that around? So keep an eye on who TCU goes with tonight, too.
By the way, I wanted to get this in. Gavin Kelly, Baseball America came out with its list of the top 10 2027 draft prospects, and West Virginia's own Gavin Kelly is at top of the list, like number 1.
That's amazing.
So, and Landon Harrison of Arizona State is number 4 on that list. So Gavin Kelly right now considered the best draft prospect in college baseball after next year.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring that on.
One more year, Gavin.
So he's going to head into next season very similar to the hype behind him that JJ had here just a couple of years ago. So that'll be fun.
He increased his batting total almost 100 points this year. Texter says concerts I've seen at the Coliseum: Tina Turner, Duran Duran, Neil Young, Moody Blues.
That's a good list right there.
It is a great list.
That's some big acts in there in the Coliseum.
That's going way back. Those are all 80s and Probably 80s at
Maybe
least.
Maybe in 70s.
Maybe even 70s.
Best show, Otis Day and the Knights at the Mountain Lair Ballroom, March of 1985. Texter says Bonnie Raitt was the last concert I saw at the Coliseum many years ago. Good concert. This texter suggests Q Country Roads, Charles Wesley, Godwin, Dunn.
It's a great one.
They play that at basketball.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
that's
do.
a common.
Right before the intro video. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right before they come out.
It's a game, every game one.
304 Talk 304. You brought up the Big 12 Conference Tournament, the 2 first-round games last night. BYU crushed Texas Tech 18-8, and BYU had 20 base hits in that contest. Ryder Robinson 4 for 5, and obviously had a big night there with a couple of doubles. And the game West Virginia fans were interested in, Kansas State beat Utah 9-5, the final score there. And D. Kennedy led Kansas State, who West Virginia held hitless in 3 games. D. Kennedy 3 for 4 with a couple of runs and a couple of RBI. 2 of his 3 hits were extra bases, had a double and a triple. So Kansas State advances to play TCU tonight. And that will be the game. The winner of that contest is who West Virginia will play, and BYU takes on Baylor. So those are the second-round games tonight, and then all the double-bye teams, including West Virginia, get involved tomorrow night. The Mountaineers against the winner of this TCU-Kansas State game. Both these games tonight on ESPN+, and West Virginia's game tomorrow night will be on ESPNU.
Stay up late if you want to watch the West Virginia opponent. That one's not going to go until 11 Eastern.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And West Virginia's game tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, but if they play in the semis, then they'll play after 11 o'clock.
Bring this thing to the Eastern time zone next. Let's go.
Hey, you talk about throwing a bone to the Western teams. How about the Eastern time zone teams? No doubt. All right, that's the Sportsline. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the MetroNews Radio Network. All rights reserved.